Hi everybody, I know this is not a typical intro to Tiger TV, but I wanted to take the time and say thank you so much for spending the time and watching these episodes. When I first took on this venture, my whole reasoning was to just get as much information as I possibly could to you guys. And I didn't care about the quality, I didn't care about the audio or the production or anything like that. What I cared about was feeding the information, trying to debunk some myths about recruiting and help you guys out. And it's been crazy since episode 1 with head coach Keith Gutton and starting on this next series with Salou. It's gonna be a fun ride. There's a lot of great interviews that I have lined up. And with this first episode, I do wanna mention that there is an issue that does happen. The memory card in the camera ended up shutting off halfway through. And I didn't realize this until I got to my computer and started editing. No way. Half of it's gone. Well, luckily what I do is I do my secondary audio on my phone. And I just took the audio from the phone and put it into the actual film itself. So at the halfway point, the video is gonna fade and it's just gonna go into sound waves. Please stay with it. Coach Hendrickson does a really, really good job of nailing down a lot of these questions and gives solid answers about recruiting, giving advice to high school and youth coaches, as well as on the academic side. So thank you guys again for spending the time. Let's start with the intro.
Hi, Baseball Nation. This is Spiker Helms, where I interview the best in the business, where I try to find out what got them to the top. This is their journey, their stories, and our questions. This is Tiger TV.
We are back for another edition of Tiger TV. We have been gone for 3 months. Well, we got one episode in. I'm gonna link that right there. But today we're here with Darin Hendrickson of St. Louis University. Darin was a former GA at SIU Edwardsville, was the head coach at Forest Park Community College, then started the Fontbonne University baseball program, went to UCM from there, competing for national titles, and now he is here at St. Louis University, changing the tone, starting a winning tradition. And with that said, I'd like to introduce you to Darin Hendrickson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Spike.
Yeah, anything you want to add in on that? I know I went way back on that for you, going way back to the GA days at SIU Edwardsville.
You shook up some cobwebs in my deal. Actually, I started at Fontbonne. It was my very first.
Oh, that was your first gig.
Yeah, but mine is after the GA thing. But then, Forest Park. So I've been, I think as I talked on your college night a couple years back, I've been at every level except NAIA. So I'm pretty proud of that. I've been at all the levels of college
Pretty
baseball.
versatile.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, let's get straight into it. So when you're recruiting or when you see it on your team, when you're looking for a mentally strong player, what are you looking for? Like, what is the indicators when you see that guy?
Well, I think, as you know, having played at a high level, I mean, our game's about failure. So we've got to have somebody that not a lot of us human beings today are equipped for failure as repeatedly as baseball brings to you. And over the course of a 56-game season, and fall ball, and waits all winter, and it's a long, long haul. And so I think that somebody that can handle failure is probably my first quality I'm looking for, and be able to recover from it and flush a bad day, away and regroup and get back at it. Because, as you know, in college baseball, it literally goes down to the last weekend. It goes down to your conference tournament, and a lot of leagues are one-bid leagues, and you're fighting, to play well to get yourself in spots for that. So you need those kinds of kids that can understand that and not say that, because I had a bad couple weeks in March, my season's over and stuff like that. Because it's a little different now, as you know, it's the way our society is. And people aren't equipped to handle the failure piece. So. And myself included, none of us like losing. None of us can handle it some days, and so I mean, we don't exclude ourselves. But from a playing standpoint, I'm also better equipped at it at age 47 than an 18-year-old. So we have to teach those kids a lot about what to expect and what going in, what's going to happen, and how to travel and how to do all those things, how to prepare. So I mean, we're looking for those kinds of kids that can get all that and aren't just looking for a good batting average or a good ERA or wins and things like that.
Is there a certain thing, like physical thing, that you look on the field when you're recruiting a guy, or is it just kind of like you got to get to know the player a little bit?
Well, I the best adage I would use is I think we stole this probably from Tony La Russa's back in being around the Cardinals and in St. Louis and watching him. But we look for winning players, and I mean that's probably the easiest thing to say. The way to describe it, I would say a winning player, whatever the team needs out of that person at that time to win the ball game, and that's what it's all about. Is unselfish, winning player who, like I said, can do a lot of things and be versatile. And if we ask a guy to go to right field or go to shortstop or behind the plate, whatever we need to win a game, and how we can manage our roster and the difficulties of that. There's all kinds of challenges. So we need guys that are willing to go to work and can accept that every day.
No egos.
Well, that's our job. But yeah, you'd like to say that, but human beings are human beings, and
yeah.
we all have one. And but yeah, your best teams are the teams that where they'll sacrifice anything for the team and the good of the team. And I think that there's been a lot of good teams that I've been part of where that's been the case, and the ones that don't usually struggle at some point.
Yeah.
They usually struggle internally, or they don't quite pull for the other guys like they should, and things happen, and it's part of it.
The guys that I talk to, and I'm with them every single day, and they're you can see the clockwork, and there's that passion behind their eyes, and they're trying to figure out, like, how do I get there? What is it what's that magic step to be, all right, I'm going to get to SALU, or I'm going to get to UCM? Like, what is that magic step? If you could go back and you were a player now, how would you approach the recruiting process?
Well, if I was a player, in today's world, I think you could do your homework a lot more. You can look online, but the advice I always give everyone at our prospect camp, at our clinics, whatever I do, talks, whatever, I always tell people that, in today's world, you need to go watch your prospective teams play. Mm-hmm. In other words, go watch St. Louis U play baseball and determine if you can play there. I mean, I think the naked eye is really the best test for me. In other words, going out and watching it. A lot of the big time schools, you can watch them on TV now even as well, but I think if you go and physically watch a game in person, you watch the speed of the game, you watch how guys prepare, how they take BP, how they do in and out, how the pitchers warm up, their throwing programs and stuff like that. I think you can find a lot of stuff in pregame and at any level of a game. And then I think if I was a player, I would say, you ask the right questions. Are there a lot of guys ahead of me? Or, what are your roster limitations? You look on the internet and you see who they've committed and who they've signed. I mean, there's so many social media sites now that you really are not doing yourself justice if you can't, find out where they're at.
You can't navigate.
Right. So that's my best advice. But I always say to people, go out and see the place, see themselves. I don't think that people need to spend a ton of money going to every camp in town and everything in town. But I do think that you need to get yourself visible in front of those college coaches at the right place. It's a very important part of it.
Which leads me to with camps, and with camps, do you get to see players from those camps that you end up bringing onto your program, or is it kind of just like a relationship type of thing? It's like, what, I see you here, let's go out and see you there, that type of deal.
It's a little of both. It's a lot of relationships, and what programs have good players. I mean, that's certainly we're not going to lie about that. Mm-hmm. That's just part of it, and then also it's just kind of half and half. Some people, the programs, they'll push their kids a little more. Some where you'll have to go see them, and there's no exact science to this recruiting. Mm-hmm. It is an inexact science, and we get a lot of it right, and we miss on some guys, and we don't get to see as many people as we have. I mean, recruiting has changed so much in the last 3 to 5 years, and it's just a different animal now. So you can't really say we found this guy through here or there. And some people can do that. They can go to the pipeline, but we're a nationwide school where we recruit all over the country.
Yeah. Well, you're in Atlantic 10. You're traveling all over the country.
Yeah. So our footprint is all over. So we have to have an open mind and get the right guys and the right match. And that's okay, too. That gives us a bigger pool to fish out of.
And how has it changed? How's the recruiting changed in the last 3 years?
Well, I would say we probably spend 3 or 4 times more time on it than we used to. It used to be fairly simple. I say simple, it was never simple, but you could go out pretty much in the St. Louis area and kind of ID a handful of kids and just say, okay, and then zero in on those guys, and other schools wouldn't be able to see those kids. And now everyone's seeing every kid. And for some reason, those kids are playing everywhere in every city, and everyone's seen them. You know, West Coast, East Coast, North schools, South schools are seeing kids from all over. And so there are no hidden gems anymore. I mean, if there are, they're really hard to find. I'd say that's probably the biggest, most drastic difference, is that used to be able, maybe you could get an underexposed kid, a smaller town kid, a kid that just played Legion baseball, a kid that was just in whatever league. Mm-hmm. Now, if that kid's any good, he's grabbed by some group and he's taking them out. But it's also helped the kids on the flip side. It helps them get exposure, and a lot more kids are moving into higher levels, probably where they wouldn't have maybe gone before.
Mm-hmm. Last question. What type of advice could you give to a youth coach and a high school coach right now?
Run. No. I would say the best, you know what, it really is. It's a lot tougher. Coaching is a 24/7 job, and you know, if you're doing it right and you've got a lot of passion, you care about the kids and getting the program up and building and growing it. I mean, you got to work at this, but you got to make it fun for the kids. Keep it fun for the kids. I know we all say that, but in the rigors of Division I baseball and in the heat of April and May, and when we're going and going and going, we still forget some days, but we've got to keep it fun because it is still a game. It's played by college kids, and it's for their best years of their life. So you want those kids that are young to look forward to that, not to get to that level and go, oh gosh, I got to do this all over again. In other words, avoid burnout.
Yeah, I don't know. And the player's lifespan is so short. It is really short. When you're in the midst of it, you're like, man, I'm still playing baseball. But once you're done, you're done.
It's over fast. It's over real fast, yeah. And you only get 4 cracks, so make sure you pick the right school and have the right match, because it's over before you know it.
Yep. Coach, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Guys, that's it. Take a look at Coach Hendrickson. I will link everything down below. Also, you can also see other videos that we have made, other Tiger TVs, other motivational videos, and then I also am going to splice up some of the big points from all these coaches to help you guys out. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. See you guys.